Welcome to The Explainer. So picture this. It's a random Sunday afternoon. You're scrolling through social media, and you inevitably stumble across one of those posts, right? You know the ones. How I became a millionaire in 18 months. Or turn $1,000 into $1 million with this one simple trick. And for a second, you just pause. You think, wait, am I missing something here? Because you work hard, you make a decent income, but when you log in and actually look at your bank account, it definitely doesn't look like millionaire progress. It can leave you feeling stuck and honestly a little frustrated.
You're probably thinking, is building wealth even actually possible for the average person? Or is literally everyone online just faking their success? It is completely valid to have that internal doubt, especially when you feel like you're doing all the right things, but the math just isn't mathing the way the internet promises it should.
Look, here's the deal. A lot of the financial advice you find out there falls into two highly toxic extremes. On one side, you've got the get-rich-in-6 months crowd, pushing crypto secrets, day trading systems, and drop-shipping hacks. On the exact opposite side, you have the get comfortable in 40 years advice, basically telling you to just invest super slowly and maybe, just maybe, you'll be comfortable enough to buy a nice rocking chair when you're 65. Neither one of these extremes is satisfying, and neither one actually helps you right now.
But here's the core thesis of our explainer today, and what most people simply do not realize. Building real wealth doesn't take 40 years, and spoiler alert, it definitely doesn't happen in 6 months. But 5 years? Exactly 5 years is actually the sweet spot. It is enough time to completely change your financial life if you focus on the right things.
All right, let's dive into this blueprint. We're going to unpack this realistic roadmap step-by-step covering the wealth illusion. Step 1, increase income. Step 2, prevent lifestyle inflation. Step 3, consistent investing. And finally, the power of momentum.
So part 1, the wealth illusion, and exactly why saving simply isn't enough.
Let's face some pretty grim reality here. According to data from the Federal Reserve, nearly 40% of Americans cannot cover a $400 emergency without borrowing money. That is wild, right? So if you're saving, say, $300 a month, you're actually doing better than most people. That is solid. But let's run the math. Over 5 years, that's $18,000. Even if you invested it and earned around an 8% annual return, you'd end up with roughly $21,000 to $22,000, which is great, absolutely. But it's not exactly life-changing, is it?
That brings us to step 1, increase income, or what we like to call building a bigger engine.
Think of it this way. Early on, your income is the engine of your financial car. If that engine is small, you just can't go fast. You need more horsepower. Just think about how a higher baseline scales everything effortlessly. Take person A, making $3,000 a month, saving 10%, which is $300. Now look at person B. They spend a couple of years leveling up their skills and bump their income to $5,000 a month. They also save 10%, but now that's $500 a month. Over 5 years, that simple baseline increase creates a massive $12,000 difference in savings alone, without person B having to pinch pennies any harder than person A.
I know. You're probably thinking, well, if it were that easy to increase my income, I'd already be doing it. And fair enough, income growth doesn't happen overnight. But we wildly underestimate what we can pull off in 5 years. 5 years is plenty of time to learn a new skill, launch a side hustle, or totally pivot careers. Actually, data from the U.S. Bureau of Labor Statistics shows that workers who switch jobs often grab a 10 to 20% salary bump on average. Imagine doing that twice in your 5-year sprint. Your income capacity would be on a whole other level.
But a massive engine is totally useless if your gas tank has a hole in it. Let's look at step 2. Prevent lifestyle inflation, the ultimate wealth killer.
Psychologists actually have a fancy scientific name for this enemy. It's called hedonic adaptation. Basically, it's our brain's tendency to get totally used to any lifestyle upgrade. You buy that shiny new car and it feels amazing for about 3 months. Then your brain normalizes it. It's just the car now. And suddenly, you're eyeing the next upgrade. It literally turns brand new luxuries into boring, everyday necessities.
So how do we beat this? With a golden rule, 50%. To beat hedonic adaptation, you must automatically invest at least half of every single raise you get, period. If your take-home goes up by $1,000 a month, $500 of that gets locked away in investments instantly. The other $500, you are completely free to go crazy and enjoy it. This one single rule is an absolute game changer because it physically stops lifestyle inflation from stealing your progress.
All right, moving right along to step 3, consistent investing, where we finally give your dollars a job.
Because once you've got that growing income, you can't just stuff it under a mattress. It needs to go to work. Historically, one of the most reliable tools out there is broad market investing, like the S&P 500, which has averaged roughly a 10% annual return over the last century. Yeah, the market jumps around in the short term, but look at the raw logic of consistency here. Stash $1,000 a month for 5 years, and you've put in $60,000 of your own money. Add in some moderate market growth, and that compounds to roughly $70,000 or more. You're literally creating capital just by having your money sitting in the right place.
And that brings us to our final section, the power of momentum, and what happens beyond those first 5 years.
You know, the source material actually shares this great story about a guy who spent his early 20s just completely stressed out about money. We've all been there, right? Barely saving anything, paycheck to paycheck. But he decided to commit to this exact timeline. For 5 years, nothing flashy, no risky crypto bets, no magic tricks. Just pure, unflashy discipline. He boosted his income, blocked lifestyle inflation, and invested consistently. Fast forward to year 5, total transformation. He doubled his income and had over 80 grand invested. Because he did all that heavy lifting, his next 5 years are going to accelerate like you wouldn't believe.
So let's recap this blueprint. Number 1, increase your income, because it is absolutely your most powerful asset. Number 2, protect yourself from inflation by saving half of every single raise you get. And number 3, invest consistently in long-term assets. Because the truth is, real wealth doesn't come from one lucky lottery ticket move. It's built on hundreds of small, boring, repeated decisions executed consistently over time.
So, I want to leave you with this final thought. Where do you want your finances to be exactly 5 years from today? Because, let's be real, those 5 years are going to pass anyway, whether you prepare for them or not. The only question is what your reality will look like when you get there. Will you still feel stuck in the exact same spot, or will you have built the kind of momentum that literally changes your family's trajectory forever? The choice starts